Hello, this is Rahaza Ken. Welcome to The9thMinute, a show about 2012 and the Star Dial Sky Map. My name is Reha. I'm an amateur astronomer and creator of the Star Dial Sky Map. I became interested in astronomy a few years ago when I got a telescope. Astronomy is one of my favorite hobbies, and I hope you find the star dial as fascinating as I do. In the course of 1 year, the sun visits a number of constellations. This path is called the ecliptic and is divided into the 12 well-known constellations of the zodiac. But the sun really visits 13 constellations. Learn all about it with this dial. As viewed from the Earth, the sun passes in front of 13, not 12 constellations. During the course of 1 year, the ecliptic runs exactly along the middle of the zodiac constellations, and a 13th constellation named Ophiuchus by ancient astronomer is between Scorpio and Sagittarius. When the sun sign system was set up more than 2,000 years ago, the sun's path was divided equally into 12 signs regardless of a constellation's size. Cancer, for example, is a small constellation, and Pisces is very large, but both were accorded an equal 1/12 of the sun's annual path. This simplification is the result of early astronomers' dislike of the number 13. Superstitions about the number 13 have been with us for thousands of years and still persist today. Claiming that there are only 12 constellations is similar to maintaining the Earth is flat. The sun is in front of the stars of Ophiuchus during the first half of December. About 1 person in 20 is an Ophiuchus, but few of them know it. Although overlooked by the zodiac, Ophiuchus is the god of medicine and always shown with a staff with a serpent around it. So one tidbit of astronomical information most people seem to know is their sun sign, but few people know what it actually means. Does your horoscope seem a little bit off? Does it seem to be written for someone else? Chances are it is. If you ask 100 people what their sun sign is, most of them will be able to tell you, but the fact is they may not be correct. The Star Dial Sky Map shows the 13 constellations that form the ecliptic. Ignored by the horoscopes, the constellation Ophiuchus between Scorpio and Sagittarius is the key to understanding the end of times. Ophiuchus Hill is crushing serpents, also known as the constellation Scorpio. He holds and tries to keep the fiery flying serpent whose head, serpent caput, is reaching for the crown, constellation Corona Borealis. The serpent is seen struggling vainly in the powerful grasp of the man who is named Ophiuchus. He is at one and the same moment shown to be seizing the serpent with both hands and treading on the very head of the scorpion, marked by the deep red star Antares. Antares is translated as the word wounding. In Scorpio, we see merely the effort to wound Ophiuchus in the heel. But here we see the effort of the serpent to seize the crown, which is situated immediately over the serpent's head and to which he is looking up and reaching forth. The contest is for dominion. Not only does the serpent fail in the attempt, but is himself utterly defeated and trodden underfoot. To view a demo of the sky map and how it works, please navigate to www.stardial.us. A demo of the star dial is found on the right-hand side of the page. Click on Demo and use the arrow to find your date of birth. Find out where the sun really was when you were born. You could be an Ophiuchus. If opposites attract, use the star dial to find your opposite. The star dial is positive proof. The horoscopes label people incorrectly and are a false teaching. So what is the meaning of the signs and wonders in the heavens? We will continue this conversation after a quick break.
One astronomy tidbit most people seem to know is their sun sign. As viewed from the Earth, the sun passes in front of 13 constellations, not 12, during the course of 1 year. This path of the sun is called the ecliptic. The ecliptic runs exactly along the middle of the zodiac constellations and the 13th constellation named Ophiuchus, or the Serpent Bearer. When the sun sign system was set up more than 2,000 years ago, the sun's path was divided into 12 equally spaced signs. This simplification is the result of early astronomers' dislike of the number 13. Superstitions about the number 13 have been with us for thousands of years and still persist today. Claiming that there are only 12 constellations is similar to maintaining the Earth is flat. The sun is in front of the stars of Ophiuchus during the first half of December. About 1 person in 20 is an Ophiuchus, but few of them know it. Although overlooked by the zodiac, Ophiuchus, or the serpent bearer, is the god of medicine and always shown with a staff with a serpent around it. Star dials showing the 13 constellation boundaries are available in our store and also on eBay.
Hello, this is Rehaza Ken, back with the 9th Minute. So what is the meaning of the signs and wonders in the heavens? As you look around, it is obvious the world is coming apart at the seams. There is strife and chaos, war and starvation, lies and deception everywhere, and a faltering economy that is at the edge of collapse. Which brings us to the question, what is really happening? Within the next decade, numerous significant astronomical events will take place. Will the world end? The Mayans considered December 21st, 2012 to be the completion of 2 major influential cycles of approximately 26,000 years in both the precession cycle of the Earth and the direct alignment of our Sun with the center of the Milky Way galaxy. The odds of these 2 events occurring at exactly the same time are phenomenal. A small minority of people believe the year 2012 will bring cataclysmic events unequaled in human history. They picture the world being destroyed by fire, pole shifts, tsunamis, losing our sun to the frozen star at the center of our galaxy, and even an alien invasion. But none of that is going to happen. According to math and science of astronomy, more than likely, nothing will happen. However, because people will want something to happen, they will make things happen, and very likely unpleasant things. We have a caller. Hello?
Am I on the phone?
Yes, you are. This is Reha. Welcome to the 9th Minute. What is your name?
Hi, my name's Savant. I was listening to your program and thought that I'd call in and get a little bit more information and see if maybe I could offer a little bit of information regarding what you're talking about. It seems to be very interesting.
Thank you.
Can you give any more details of exactly what you're trying to bring out to all of us out here that are listening?
The topic of our conversation today is about the Mayan Cosmogenesis and the predicted end of the world, December 21st, 2012. Within the next year, a very unique astronomical event will take place. According to the Mayans, a cycle of approximately 26,000 years in both the precession cycle of the Earth and the direct alignment of our sun with the center of the Milky Way galaxy is going to occur. And what is phenomenal about this is that both of these events will occur at exactly the same time and were predicted by the Mayans through their mechanical timekeeping system. And there is no evidence, no mathematical or no scientific evidence that anything geophysical is going to occur. We do not anticipate any cataclysmic events. However, as we are approaching December 21st, 2012, there seems to be a lot of speculation about the outcome of this year. And maybe it is because people want something to happen, and maybe people will make something happen. Karl Marx observed that when a theory grips the masses, it becomes a material force. In this case, the doctrine, the theory, would be that of Armageddon. And the theory of Armageddon has gripped the imagination of several extremely motivated and influential groups, including some folks in the United States, Israel, and the Muslim world. And the doctrine is quickly becoming an unstoppable force across the world. We consider Armageddon every time we hear that some country in the Middle East is acquiring nuclear capabilities. Armageddon is the great consuming war to be fought among the people of the earth. Apocalypse is the natural or supernatural cataclysm expected to come after Armageddon. And trying to oppose a natural catastrophe, such as a volcano or an earthbound comet, is pointless. But Armageddon is different because it is a man-made event. Of all the potential catastrophes, Armageddon is the only one we might have the power to present. In the final crash between good and evil, some experts predict 2 to 3 billion people are supposed to perish. Evangelical Christians believe that the rapture is going to occur right before Armageddon, and that faithful Christians are literally lifted up into the air to join God and have the opportunity to observe the battle of Armageddon from heaven. So as winter solstice is quickly approaching, everyone from private enterprise to the Vatican is debating what the possible outcome is going to be. Do you, Savant, have any thoughts on what might happen?
Yes, I'd like to actually comment on a couple of those. First of all, are you saying that in the mentioning of Karl Marx that he's got something to do with Armageddon?
No, I am saying that Karl Marx merely theorized about how mass think works, and that when a group of people, i.e. the masses, have a theory, it becomes a material force. In other words, a belief that is held by a large group of people becomes a material force, and Armageddon in this case is a belief perpetrated by a lot of people.
Okay, so he was actually pretty successful with that with communism. That's looking at today's governments and the way they work. The key is let's concentrate, if possible, on some of the influences directly, and the fact that you mentioned that there is not any empirical scientific evidence of anything that's going to occur on December 21st, 2012. First of all, there has been a lot of tectonic plate shifting, as anybody can see, in the past several years. Specifically in the last 100, there has been a dramatic increase in what's considered to be major earthquakes anything over 7.0 on the Richter scale. And in the past couple of years, we've actually had two that are 8 or 9 and have caused major tsunamis. And say, for instance, the one in Japan actually shifted the island 8 feet closer to the United States. So there are things going on in the background, and scientists looking in their scientific analysis of exactly what's happening have determined that the force field that surrounds the Earth that protects us and keeps everything in working order is weakening, and that it is weaker now than it has been in the last 2,000 years, and that 2,000 years ago it was weakened, but something happened to regenerate that force field. I think it's pretty easily discussed, what happened 2,000 years ago that could have been the catalyst for this to occur. And as you mentioned, the rapture that many people believe in that happens actually 7 years before Armageddon, that there may be a return of Christ to build up that energy to keep the earth from going into chaos once again. In fact, there are scriptures that intimate that exactly, and Isaiah chapter 13 is one of them that speaks of the earth going out of orbit at the last moment. Then there is something that snaps everything back in. But, there's many factors involved.
This is true, yes. Go ahead.
There are a lot of scientific factors that have been researched and analyzed regarding this. I don't think anybody can set specific dates. There is, regarding the situation of coming to the Battle of Armageddon, a peace pact that is supposed to occur to allow Israel to rebuild their temple on the Temple Mount. There's a lot of factors here. Now, I know that a lot of people look at historical evidence and other sources of what they would consider to be reliable information to come to a conclusion on any of this. I've spent over 20 years doing intense research from many different directions to come up with information, and have been writing on a trilogy of books called Full Circle that deals with this. What has the Mayan calendar got to do with the culmination of all this? What do the Mayans say actually is going to occur? Isn't it something to do with like a time shift? From what I understand, they're claiming that there's going to be like a warp in the fabric of the space-time continuum, and that there will be quote-unquote gods, or the god Quetzalcoatl returning to start a new civilization and an evolutionary form of man. Is that what you've heard as well?
Their plumed serpent god will return, and it is the 13 back tune of time. And, the emergence of, or the rediscovery of the constellation of Ophiuchus in our own Cosmogenesis, is indicative of, people thinking along those lines that maybe something metaphysical might occur. But, the alignment that the Mayans predicted so beautifully, the Earth, the Sun, in a direct straight line to the center of our Milky Way galaxy, pointing directly towards the frozen star at the center of our galaxy, I think is what's remarkable about this whole event. I don't think anything beyond that is going to occur. To me, the Mayan discovery of this alignment is an intellectual accomplishment that is remarkable considering the times when they lived. So as far as our sun being engulfed by the frozen star at the center of our galaxy, the gravitational pull on our sun is trillion times smaller than the gravitational pull of the sun on our Earth. And we don't crash into the sun every day. It is trillion times smaller than the influence of the sun on our Earth. So from this perspective, really, this alignment is not going to have any impact on our Earth or on our sun. It is, however, significant, shall we say, oddity that was identified thousands of years ago, and interesting in itself for that reason.
Well, there's been a couple of these quote-unquote harmonic convergence alignments that have occurred in the past couple of decades, and absolutely nothing's happened. But the key to this is that there is supposed to be some type of almost like a portal that is to open. Just a few years ago, at the beginning of this cycle, the Mayans made a prophecy in their ancient writings that at a specific day and time, which they calculated with their calendar, that there would be an eclipse that would start a cycle. This occurred several years ago in Mexico City, and people were there filming it, and there were actually hundreds of, shall we say, what they're calling to be UFOs appearing in the sky at that time. It's on film. It was on the Mexican version of 60 Minutes. And so I believe that there's some type of quote-unquote extraterrestrial, angelic, spiritual influx on this, and that through the influence of people's collective positive thinking, believing that this is going to happen, it's almost putting energy into it. It's kind of like what on the Star Trek or different movies, the Borg type of a situation. So, I think that there's a lot more than just the scientific evidence.
Yeah, well, leading up to December 2012, we have seen a lot of people demanding change, a lot of people wanting to see change. The Arab Spring, every Arab nation is restructuring, and in our own country and in Europe, the Occupy movement, people are unhappy with the status quo. People are looking for to build a different world. There are now 7 billion people on this planet, and we need to learn how to live together as 7 billion people. So there is probably, and adding to this, it has been a very eventful year in the weather patterns. As you mentioned, there have been earthquakes, significant drought, flooding, tornadoes. So there has been, we've had our share of maybe not cataclysmic but unusual weather patterns in the past year. The way I see it, 2012 is going to have a very different outcome. I think that this impetus for change will take root, and that through this year we are going to see a lot of positive changes occurring, and by the end of this year, going into 2013, we're going to live in a better world, and moderated by people, politicians, bankers, who are not going to structure our lives the same way. And so December 21st, 2012 falls on a Friday. Fortunately, by Monday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, people will be free of worry and able to enjoy Christmas. In combination with the Christmas holiday, we will have a long weekend to Wednesday, December 26, 2012, enough time for people to recover and gain normalcy and just be able to say, wow, another Y2K, this time Y2K 12. I am personally looking forward to transitioning to next year so we can put this behind us and realize that nothing cataclysmic is going to occur, and that all the literature and the movies about the end of the world are just an artistic representation of our imaginations.
Well, I would have to agree that a lot of it is. There are some definite sources. A lot of people scoff and laugh at using scriptures for any type of believable source of information, but I've done research in it, and there are encoded messages and mathematical formulas and all kinds of things that are hidden within the text, and it delineates very precisely what will happen coming towards the end of the world. And there are thousands of prophecies in the scriptures that have already come to pass, some specifically on exact dates that were predicted. So I think that looking at it as a source regarding Armageddon and some of the things in the book of Revelation and Daniel and Ezekiel and some of the others, that there are things that are beginning to happen. So we need to be aware, be ready, and be prepared for things to change.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's an interesting point you bring up. How does December 2012, fit into the eschatology of the Christian religion? That's probably a good topic for our next show. And Savant, when we do that show, I hope that you can join us and contribute to that topic. Thank you very much for calling in.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay. So what should you do as we approach December 2012 to feel better? The most important step you can take is to be aware of the issue and take some reasonable precautions to ensure that you and your family are safe and prepared. Short-term planning should probably include a 72-hour survival kit, enough water, food, and emergency supplies to last about 3 days. In addition to water, the most important supply in both short and long-term planning is energy. In the event the power grid fails, it would be important to have a backup power supply. Though not everyone can off the grid, it is possible to take at least one circuit in your home off the grid. A hybrid wind-solar unit makes sense because when the sun does not shine, the wind usually blows, and generation is theoretically feasible almost around the clock. There are exactly 325 days, 11 hours, and 13 minutes until December 21st, 2012, winter solstice. Be well until next time. This is Reha Zaken.